My name is Serafina Drake. I'm 41. At 2:47 a.m. on a Thursday in March, I was standing in Trauma Bay 3 at Mercy Rest Medical Center, wearing surgical scrubs soaked with someone else's blood, staring down at my sister Mary's face. She was unconscious. Her vital signs were crashing, and my parents were in the waiting room telling anyone who would listen that I was a drug addict who'd dropped out of medical school 15 years ago. Dr. Drake, we need a decision. My resident's voice cut through the monitor's alarm. Blood pressure's dropping, 80/50. I looked at the CT scan on the screen. Grade 3 liver laceration, internal bleeding. She had maybe 20 minutes before we'd lose her. Prep OR2, I said. I'm scrubbing in. The resident's eyes widened. You're operating on your own sister? She doesn't have 20 minutes to wait for someone else. I walked out of the trauma bay and nearly collided with my father in the hallway. Joseph Drake, 6 feet tall, silver hair, expensive suit even at 3 a.m. He looked at me like I was a stranger asking for change. What are you doing here? His voice was ice. I work here, Dad. I'm chief of trauma surgery. He actually laughed, a short, bitter sound. Still telling that story? Mary said you'd try this if you ever saw us again. My mother appeared behind him. Lisa Drake, perfectly styled even in crisis, her hand clutching a tissue she hadn't used. Joseph, don't engage with her. Security should have removed her by now. I'm about to save your daughter's life, I said quietly. Mary has a grade 3 liver laceration. She needs surgery immediately. You're not a surgeon. My father's voice rose. You dropped out of medical school. You've been homeless for years. Mary showed us the... Mr. Drake, I need you to step back. A nurse I'd worked with for 6 years appeared at my elbow. Dr. Drake is chief of surgery here. She's been chief for 3 years. My mother's face crumpled in that practiced way. She's lying to you. She's lying to everyone. Our daughter has a drug problem. She's been in rehab 4 times. Mary has the evidence. Your daughter Mary is dying, I interrupted. I can stand here and argue with you, or I can go save her life. Your choice. I didn't wait for an answer. I walked toward the surgical wing, my hands shaking so badly I had to clasp them together. Behind me, I heard my father's voice. We're calling our lawyer. Before I go on, if stories about standing up for yourself mean something to you, please hit like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from right now and what time it is there. Let me take you back 17 years to the last time my family felt like family. I was 24, newly accepted to Johns Hopkins Medical School, sitting in Aunt Mia's kitchen in her row house on Fairmont Avenue. She was making her famous lemon bars, the ones that took 3 hours and filled the whole house with the smell of butter and citrus. Aunt Mia was my mother's older sister, but they couldn't have been more different. Where my mother was polished and careful, Aunt Mia wore paint-stained jeans and kept her gray hair in a messy bun. You're really doing it, little Phoenix, she said, sliding a warm lemon bar onto my plate. She always called me that. Phoenix, rising from ashes. Medical school. Mary's not happy about it. I picked at the powdered sugar. She said I'm just trying to show her up. Mary was 27 then, working as a pharmaceutical sales rep, living in our parents' guest house rent-free. She'd always been the favorite. The pretty one, the charming one, the one who knew how to make our parents smile. Aunt Mia sat down across from me, her hands wrapping around her coffee mug. Listen to me, Serafina. Your sister is going to do something. I don't know what yet, but I know Mary. She can't stand anyone else shining. She's my sister, Aunt Mia. I know, honey. I know. She reached across and squeezed my hand. But I need you to promise me something. No matter what happens, no matter what anyone says about you, you keep going. You become that surgeon. And when things get dark, and they will get dark, you remember that I see you, the real you. I promise, I said. She smiled and pulled an envelope from her pocket. This is for emergencies only. Don't open it unless you absolutely have to, and don't tell anyone you have it. I took the envelope. It was sealed with red wax, her initial M pressed into it. What is it? Insurance, she said, against the worst-case scenario. I never imagined I'd need it. The first betrayal came 3 months later, in October, at my parents' house during Sunday dinner. I'd been at Hopkins for 6 weeks, exhausted, overwhelmed, but doing well. I came home for the weekend because my mother had specifically asked me to. Family dinner, she'd said on the phone. We miss you. I should have known better. I walked into the dining room at 6 p.m. exactly. My parents were already seated. Mary was there too, in a cream-colored dress that probably cost more than my textbooks. She smiled at me, and something about it made my stomach twist. Serafina. My father didn't stand up. Sit down. We need to talk about your behavior. My behavior? Don't play innocent. Mary's voice was honey-sweet. Mom and Dad know everything. My mother dabbed at her eyes. How could you, Serafina? Stealing from your own sister? The room tilted. What are you talking about? The $3,000 from my account. Mary slid her phone across the table. I have the bank statement right here. Withdrawal on October 8th, the same day you visited my apartment to borrow my anatomy notes. I picked up the phone. The statement showed a $3,000 ATM withdrawal. October 8th, 2:15 p.m. I was in class at 2:15, I said. We had a cadaver lab from 1 to 5. There are 30 people who can verify. She's lying. Mary's voice cracked perfectly. She's been lying for months, about everything. My father's face hardened. We've been patient with you, Serafina. We've tried to support your ambitions, but this is unacceptable. Dad, I didn't take any money. I don't even have Mary's ATM card. How would I? Enough. His hand hit the table. The wine glasses jumped. You will apologize to your sister, and you will pay back what you stole. I didn't steal anything. My mother made a small sound of distress. Mary reached over and took her hand, the perfect daughter, comforting the wounded mother. Get out, my father said, and don't come back until you're ready to tell the truth. I stood up. My face burned so hot I could feel my pulse in my teeth. I am telling the truth. Then you're delusional, Mary said softly. Maybe you need help, Sarah. Professional help. I left. I drove back to Baltimore with my hands shaking on the wheel. I called Aunt Mia from a gas station off I-95. They don't believe me, I said. Mary said I stole money from her and they believed her. I know, honey. Aunt Mia's voice was tired. I know. What do I do? You keep going. You finish medical school. You become the surgeon you're meant to be. A pause. And you hold on to that envelope. Over the next 6 months, things got worse. Mary sent emails to my parents, carefully crafted, heartbroken emails that somehow always got forwarded to me by accident. In them, she detailed my supposed drug problem, the rehab stays I'd never had, the boyfriends who were dealers, the nights she'd found me passed out in parking lots. None of it was true. All of it was believed. My mother stopped answering my calls. My father sent a single text message in December. Until you get help, we can't enable your self-destruction. I tried to defend myself. I sent my class schedule, my grade reports, letters from professors. Everything went unanswered. At Christmas, I wasn't invited home. Mary posted photos on social media. The family gathered around the tree, my stocking conspicuously absent, caption reading, "Missing one, but protecting our peace." Aunt Mia invited me to her house. We ate Chinese takeout and watched old movies. She didn't say, "I told you so." She just held my hand and told me to keep going. She's isolating you, Aunt Mia said. Classic manipulation. But here's what Mary doesn't know. Truth is patient. Lies have to be maintained. I went back to school. I stopped trying to contact my parents. I focused on surgery, on learning, on becoming the kind of doctor who could hold someone's life in her hands and not flinch. I graduated medical school in 2011. My parents didn't come to the ceremony. Mary sent them a fake text message from my number, claiming I'd uninvited them. I still have the screenshot she posted in the family group chat, a conversation that never happened from a number that wasn't even mine. Aunt Mia came. She sat in the front row and cried when I crossed the stage. "I'm so proud of you, little Phoenix," she said afterward. "Your parents are making a mistake they'll regret. They think I'm a drug addict living under a bridge somewhere." "I know." She hugged me tighter. "But you're not. And one day, they'll know that too." I started my residency at Mercy Rest Medical Center in June 2011. Trauma surgery, the hardest, most demanding specialty. I worked 80-hour weeks. I learned to stop bleeding, to repair organs, to make life or death decisions in seconds. Mary's campaign continued. She created fake social media accounts that tagged my parents in posts about tough love and enabling addicts. She sent Christmas cards updating them on my fictional downward spiral. In 2014, she told them I was homeless. In 2016, she said I'd been arrested. In 2018, she claimed I'd asked her for money to buy drugs, and she'd finally learned to say no. My parents believed every word. I made chief of trauma surgery in 2022. I was 38 years old. The hospital threw a small reception. I stood there in a conference room, surrounded by colleagues who respected me, and I thought about my parents reading Mary's latest fabrication about me sleeping in shelters. Aunt Mia was in the crowd. She'd brought a bouquet of sunflowers, my favorite. "They still don't know, do they?" I asked. "No." She looked sad. "Your mother asked me about you last week. I told her you were a surgeon. She said Mary had warned her I'd fall for your lies too." "Why does she do this?" "Because she can." Aunt Mia touched my cheek. "Because your light makes her feel dim, and your parents would rather believe a comfortable lie than an uncomfortable truth." "Do you think they'll ever believe me?" She was quiet for a long moment. "I think Mary will slip eventually. Liars always do. And when she does, you'll be ready." The public humiliation came on a Tuesday in January 2024 at a coffee shop 3 blocks from the hospital. I was in line at 7:20 a.m., still in my scrubs from a night shift, ordering my usual black coffee. Exhausted, planning to go home and sleep for 6 hours before my next shift. "Serafina?" I turned. Mary stood there in a white wool coat and designer sunglasses, her mouth forming a perfect O of surprise. "Oh my God," she said, loud enough that everyone in the coffee shop turned to look. "Serafina, is that really you?" My stomach dropped. "Hello, Mary." "I can't believe it." She rushed forward, her voice bright with concern. "Mom and Dad said you were... But you look so good. Are you clean?" The barista's eyes widened. The man behind me took a small step back. "I'm fine," I said quietly. "I'm just getting coffee before I go home." "Home?" Her voice rose with hope. "You have a home? That's wonderful. Where are you staying?" "I have an apartment." "An apartment." She pressed her hand to her chest. "That's such progress. Are you working? Please tell me you're working." "I'm working." "What are you doing?" She leaned in, conspiratorial, like we were old friends catching up. "Are you in a program? Retail? Food service? That's nothing to be ashamed of, Sarah. Honest work is honest work." Something cracked open inside me. Not anger, something colder. "I'm a surgeon," I said. Her smile didn't waver. "Of course you are, sweetie. The way you'd talk to a child claiming to be an astronaut." She turned to the barista. "Can I pay for her coffee? I want to help however I can." "I don't need your help, Mary." "I know you don't want to accept it. Pride is so hard to swallow." She pulled out her wallet, made a show of sliding a 20 across the counter. Please, it would mean so much to me. I've been so worried. The barista looked between us, clearly uncomfortable. I'm chief of trauma surgery at Mercy Rest Medical Center, I said evenly. I make $380,000 a year. I can buy my own coffee. Mary's eyes filled with tears. Instant, perfect tears. Oh, Sarah, honey, I know you want to believe that. I know the delusions feel real, but making up stories won't help you heal. She turned to the growing crowd. I'm sorry, everyone. My sister has some challenges. I'm trying to help her, but it's so hard when she won't admit she has a problem. 3 people looked at me with pity. One woman whispered to her friend. I saw my reflection in the coffee shop window, rumpled scrubs, dark circles under my eyes, hair in a messy ponytail. I looked exactly like what Mary was describing. I hope you get the help you need, Mary said, touching my arm gently. Then she walked out, leaving her $20 on the counter for my $3.75 coffee. I stood there for 5 seconds, then 10. The barista slid my coffee toward me without a word. I walked out. I sat in my car in the parking lot, and I realized something that should have been obvious years ago. Mary wasn't going to stop. She would keep doing this forever. As long as our parents believed her, as long as no one questioned her, she would continue to rewrite my life until even I started doubting the truth. I drove home. I opened my safe, and I pulled out the envelope Aunt Mia had given me 17 years ago. The red wax seal was still intact. I broke it open. Inside was a single piece of paper with Aunt Mia's handwriting. When you're ready, call this number. Below it was a phone number with a Baltimore area code. I called it that afternoon. A woman's voice answered. Carter and Associates, attorney at law. I'm looking for someone, I said. I was given this number by Mia Castellano. A pause. Is this Serafina Drake? My throat went dry. Yes. Ms. Drake, we've been waiting for your call. Can you come to our office tomorrow at 2 p.m.? We have something for you. The office was in a renovated brownstone in downtown Baltimore. I sat in a leather chair across from a woman in her 50s with kind eyes and gray hair pulled back in a bun. I'm Patricia Carter, she said. I've been your aunt's attorney for 20 years. My aunt is alive, I said. Why do I need her attorney? Patricia smiled. Your aunt is very much alive and very much aware of what your sister has been doing. She slid a folder across the desk. For the last 8 years, Mia has been documenting everything. Every lie Mary told, every piece of fabricated evidence, every conversation with your parents where she poisoned them against you. I opened the folder. Inside were printed emails, screenshots of text messages, bank statements, phone records, page after page after page. How did she get all this? Your aunt is tech-savvy. She's also patient. She's been waiting for the right moment. Patricia leaned forward. She wants you to know that when you're ready to confront your family, you'll have everything you need. But she wants it to be your choice, your timeline. Why didn't she just tell my parents herself? She tried. They didn't believe her. They accused her of being jealous of Mary's success. Patricia's voice was gentle. Your aunt realized that some people will only believe the truth when they have no other choice. I looked through the documents. There was so much. Years of lies, cataloged and preserved, evidence of Mary's fabrications, proof of my real life, my medical degree, my residency, my position at the hospital. What am I supposed to do with this? Whatever you want, Patricia said. You can confront your family privately, you can expose Mary publicly, or you can do nothing, but your aunt wanted you to have options. I left the office with the folder. I drove to Aunt Mia's house. She opened the door before I could knock. You called Patricia, she said. You've been collecting evidence for 8 years. 9, actually. I started the month after you graduated medical school, and they didn't show up. She stepped aside to let me in. Come on, I made lemon bars. We sat in her kitchen, the same kitchen where she'd given me that first envelope. The smell of lemon and butter filled the air. Why didn't you tell me? I asked. Because you needed to focus on becoming a surgeon, not on fighting your sister. She poured tea into my cup. And because I knew Mary would eventually do something that would force the truth out. Liars always get sloppy. I don't know if I can do this, if I can face them. You don't have to. Aunt Mia's hand covered mine. You can walk away, build your life without them. You don't owe them anything. But you collected all this evidence. I collected it so you'd have a choice, not an obligation, she smiled. You're my little phoenix. You've already risen from the ashes. Whether you go back and show them what they destroyed is entirely up to you. I sat there drinking tea, thinking about my parents who believed I was homeless, about Mary who'd stolen 15 years of my life, about the choice I had to make. 3 weeks later, Mary made the choice for me. It was 2:31 a.m. on a Thursday when my pager went off. Motor vehicle accident, multiple casualties, ETA 10 minutes. I was already at the hospital finishing paperwork from an earlier surgery. I headed to the ER. The ambulance bay doors burst open. Paramedics wheeled in 2 stretchers. Female 38 driver, head-on collision, the paramedic rattled off. GCS 8, unstable vitals, suspected internal bleeding. I looked down at the patient's face. Mary. My hands went numb. For 3 seconds, I couldn't move. Dr. Drake? My resident's voice. Orders? I snapped back. Get me a CT scan. Full trauma panel. Type and cross for 6 units. Move. I stepped back as my team swarmed Mary's stretcher. Professional. Detached. This was just another patient. Just another trauma. Except it wasn't. Dr. Drake. A nurse touched my arm. Her emergency contacts just arrived. Your parents. And that's when I saw them. Joseph and Lisa Drake, standing in the waiting room, looking older than I remembered. My mother's hand was pressed to her mouth. My father's face was gray. The nurse was already walking toward them. The family of Mary Drake? I watched my parents stand up, watched them follow the nurse toward the trauma bay, watched my mother's eyes pass right over me in my scrubs and not recognize her own daughter. Then my father saw me, and his face went hard. That's when I'd said those words, when I'd told them I was about to save their daughter's life, and they'd accused me of lying, when I'd had to choose between defending myself and doing my job. I chose my job. I scrubbed in for surgery at 3:15 a.m. Mary's liver was worse than the CT had shown. Grade 4 laceration, active bleeding. I worked for 2 hours and 40 minutes, repairing tissue, cauterizing vessels, keeping her alive. At 6:02 a.m., I closed. Mary was stable. Critical, but stable. I walked out of the OR and found my parents in the ICU waiting room. They looked up when I entered, and my father actually stood, like he was going to block me from coming closer. She's stable, I said. The surgery went well. She'll need to stay in ICU for at least 48 hours, but she should recover fully. My mother's face crumpled. Thank God. Thank God. Can we see her? My father asked. In about 20 minutes, once she settled in ICU. I paused. I performed the surgery. We know you work here, my mother said carefully. We spoke to the administrator. He confirmed your position. My position as chief of trauma surgery. Silence. Mary told us, my father started. I know what Mary told you. She told you I dropped out of medical school, that I've been addicted to drugs, that I've been homeless, that I've been in and out of rehab. My voice was steady, calm. None of it is true. None of it has ever been true. My mother's hands twisted her tissue. But the messages, the evidence, fabricated, All of it. Why would Mary do that? My father demanded. What reason would she have to lie? Because I'm everything she told you I wasn't. I pulled my phone from my pocket. I'm calling someone. You should both sit down. I dialed Aunt Mia. She answered on the second ring. Is it time? She asked. It's time. 30 minutes later, Aunt Mia walked into the ICU waiting room, carrying a large accordion folder. She looked at my parents and her face was ice. Joseph, Lisa. She sat down across from them. We need to have a conversation about your daughter. We know Serafina is a surgeon, my mother said quietly. We spoke to the hospital administrator. He said she's been here for 13 years. I'm not talking about Serafina. Aunt Mia opened the folder. I'm talking about Mary. She pulled out a stack of documents and spread them across the table. These are phone records showing that Mary has been sending herself text messages from spoofed numbers and claiming they're from Serafina. These are bank statements proving that Mary withdrew $3,000 from her own account and blamed Serafina. These are emails where Mary admits to a friend that she's been managing her parents' perception of Serafina. My father picked up one of the documents. His hands were shaking. This is from 2012, Aunt Mia continued. An email from Mary to her friend Jessica Thornton. I'll read it aloud. Mom and Dad totally bought the rehab story. They think Sarah's been in treatment for 6 months. Meanwhile, she's actually in her residency at Mercy Rest. By the time they figure it out, it'll be too late to repair the relationship. I win. My mother made a sound like she'd been struck. She's been doing this for 15 years, Aunt Mia said. Systematically destroying Serafina's relationship with you. Making you believe she was a drug addict so you'd cut her off. And it worked. Why? My father's voice cracked. Why would she do this? Because Serafina was always smarter, always more driven, and Mary couldn't stand it. Aunt Mia pulled out more papers. Here's Serafina's medical school diploma, Johns Hopkins, 2011. Here's her board certification in trauma surgery. Here's her appointment as chief of surgery at Mercy Rest Medical Center in 2022. Here's every single thing Mary told you was a lie. My mother was crying now. Real tears, not the performative kind. We missed her graduation. Her wedding. Is she married? No, I said quietly. I'm not married. I focused on my career instead. The career you thought I'd thrown away for drugs. We tried to help you, my father said. Mary showed us messages. Proof. Fake proof. Aunt Mia tapped the folder. All documented here. 9 years' worth of fabrications. I've been collecting evidence since 2015, waiting for the right moment to show you. The right moment? My father's voice rose. You've known for 9 years and you didn't tell us? I tried to tell you in 2016. You accused me of being jealous of Mary's pharmaceutical career. You said I was trying to turn you against your own daughter. Aunt Mia's voice was sharp. So I stopped trying to convince you with words and started collecting proof. A nurse appeared in the doorway. Dr. Drake, your patient is waking up. I stood. I need to check on Mary. We're coming with you, my mother said. No, my voice was firm. You're not. I'm her doctor right now, not her sister. You can see her when I say she's stable enough for visitors. I walked away, leaving them with Aunt Mia and the evidence of their 15-year mistake. Mary woke up at 7:43 a.m. Her eyes fluttered open, unfocused, confused. Don't try to move, I said. You were in a car accident. You're in ICU at Mercy Rest Medical Center. Her eyes found my face. Recognition flickered, then fear. Sarah? Her voice was hoarse. I'm Dr. Drake right now. I checked her vitals. You had a grade 4 liver laceration. I performed the surgery. You're going to recover, but you need to stay still. Mom and Dad are in the waiting room. They know everything, Mary. Her eyes widened. What do you mean? Aunt Mia showed them the evidence, all of it, every lie you told, every message you faked, every story you invented. I adjusted her IV. They know I'm not a drug addict. They know I never dropped out of medical school. They know you've been lying for 15 years. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I can explain. I don't want your explanation. I stepped back. I wanted you to know that I saved your life. Despite everything you did to me, despite every lie you told, when you came into my ER dying, I saved you. Because that's who I am. Sarah, please. My name is Dr. Drake, and I need you to rest. Your body has been through significant trauma. I walked out. My parents were standing outside the ICU, Aunt Mia between them like a referee. She's awake, I said. You can see her for 5 minutes. Don't upset her. She needs to stay calm. My mother grabbed my arm as I passed. Serafina, we're so sorry. We should have believed you. We should have. You should have asked me, I said. 15 years ago, when Mary first accused me of stealing, you should have asked for my side. You should have asked for proof. You should have trusted me enough to investigate before you cut me off. We made a terrible mistake, my father said. Yes, you did. I pulled my arm free. And I can't process that right now. I've been awake for 22 hours. I just performed surgery on the sister who destroyed my relationship with you. I need to go home and sleep. When can we talk? My mother asked. Really talk? I don't know. I need time to think. I looked at both of them. I spent 15 years trying to prove to you that I wasn't what Mary said I was. I sent you my grades, my diplomas, my achievements. You ignored all of it. So I stopped trying. I built a life without you. Can we be part of your life again? My father asked. I don't know, I said honestly. I don't know if I can trust you not to believe the next lie someone tells about me. I don't know if I can forgive you for missing 15 years of my life because you didn't bother to verify your favorite daughter's stories. I walked away. Aunt Mia followed me to the locker room. You did good, little Phoenix, she said. I don't feel good. I feel numb. That's okay. Numb is okay for now. She hugged me. Go home, sleep, process, and know that I'm proud of you. I went home. I slept for 9 hours. When I woke up, my phone had 47 missed calls from my parents and 12 voicemails I didn't listen to. Over the next 2 weeks, Mary recovered. My parents visited her every day. They also tried to visit me, showing up at the hospital, at my apartment, leaving letters and flowers and tearful apologies. I didn't respond. I wasn't ready. Aunt Mia kept me updated. Mary had confessed everything. The fake text messages, the fabricated evidence, the systematic campaign to turn our parents against me. She claimed she'd been jealous, that she'd meant to stop but couldn't, that it had spiraled out of control. She's asking if you'll forgive her, Aunt Mia said over coffee one afternoon. What do you think I should do? I think you should do whatever protects your peace. She stirred sugar into her tea. Forgiveness isn't a gift you give someone else. It's a gift you give yourself, and it doesn't mean you have to let them back into your life. 3 weeks after the accident, my parents came to the hospital and waited in the lobby until I had time to talk. We sat in a conference room. My mother looked like she'd aged 5 years. My father's shoulders were slumped in a way I'd never seen before. We owe you more than an apology, my mother said. We owe you 15 years. You can't give me those back. No, we can't. My father's voice was rough. But we want to try to build something new, if you'll let us. Why should I trust you? I asked. You chose Mary over me for 15 years. What's different now? We saw the evidence, my mother said. We can't unsee it. We can't unhear Mary's confession. We know we failed you. You did more than fail me. You believed I was a drug-addicted dropout living on the streets, and you never once tried to find me. You never tried to help. You just believed the worst and walked away. We thought we were practicing tough love, my father said. Mary told us that engaging with you would enable your addiction, that we needed to let you hit rock bottom. And you never questioned that? Never thought it was strange that I never asked you for money? That I never showed up high or desperate? That I just Disappeared? Silence. We should have questioned it, my mother whispered. We should have trusted our instincts. We should have trusted you. I looked at them. My parents. Strangers who shared my DNA. I don't know if we can fix this, I said. I don't know if I want to try. We understand, my father said. But we're asking for a chance. Even if it's just coffee once a month, a phone call every few weeks, anything you're willing to give. I thought about it, about the cost of holding on to anger versus the cost of letting them back in. I need you to understand something, I said. I'm not the daughter you remember. I'm not 24 anymore. I built a life without you. I have friends, colleagues, a career I love. I'm not waiting for you to validate me or approve of me. We know, my mother said, and I need you to understand that Mary destroyed something. Even if we rebuild, it won't be what we had before. It'll be something different, smaller, more fragile. We'll take whatever you're willing to give, my father said. Then we can try, I said, slowly, on my terms. And if it doesn't work, we stop. No guilt, no pressure. My mother started crying again. Thank you for giving us a chance. 6 months later, I'm sitting in my apartment on a Saturday morning, drinking coffee and watching the sunrise over the city. My parents and I have dinner once a month. It's still awkward sometimes. There are gaps in the conversation where 15 years of my life should be. But we're trying. Mary and I don't speak. She sent letters apologizing, explaining, begging for another chance. I read the first one. I didn't read the rest. Maybe someday I'll be ready to forgive her. Maybe not. Either way, it's my choice. Aunt Mia comes over every Sunday. We make lemon bars and talk about everything and nothing. She still calls me Little Phoenix. I still think of her as the person who saved me. There's a photo on my desk now. Me in my white coat, chief of trauma surgery badge visible, standing in front of Mercy Rest Medical Center. Aunt Mia took it last month. I sent a copy to my parents. They framed it. If you're watching this and you've ever been the scapegoat in your family, the one who's blamed for everything while someone else gets away with murder, I need you to know something. Their failure to see you doesn't define your worth. Their choice to believe lies doesn't make the lies true. You don't need their validation to be valuable. And if you're waiting for someone to believe you, to finally see the truth, stop waiting. Build your life anyway. Become who you're meant to be anyway. Let your success be so loud that the lies can't drown it out. If you've ever had to save the person who tried to destroy you, type, "I chose compassion" in the comments. Or if you walked away and never looked back, type, "I chose myself." Both are valid. Both take strength. If this story meant something to you, check the description for more stories just like this one. Thank you for being here. And remember, you're not the villain in someone else's story about you. You're the hero in your own.